15 shocking celebrity breakups that will leave you. Stop everything! If you thought Hollywood love was immortal, the last few months just shattered that illusion. We've witnessed the impossible. Iconic marriages of 40 years dissolving in silence, and forever reunions burning out in less than 2. From secret separations to brutal legal battles, the foundations of Tinseltown are shaking. Are we witnessing the death of the celebrity power couple? Welcome back to Celebrity Couples Hollywood. Today we're exposing the 15 shocking breakups that proved even $1 billion can't buy a happy ending. Buckle up, because number 1 will make you question everything you know about true love. Before we dive into the heartbreak, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You don't want to miss our deep dives into the stars' most private moments. Done? Let's get into it. Reese Witherspoon and Jim Toth. For over a decade, Reese Witherspoon and Jim Toth stood as the gold standard for a functional Hollywood marriage. Unlike the volatile romances typically splashed across tabloids, their union felt sturdy, grounded in mutual professional ambition and a shared commitment to a blended family. Reese, an Academy Award-winning powerhouse and media mogul, found a steady anchor in Jim, a high-level talent agent who understood the industry's inner workings without needing to be center stage. Their 2011 wedding at a scenic Ojai ranch felt like the beginning of a modern dynasty. However, the very drive that built their respective empires eventually became the wedge that drove them apart. As Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine evolved into a billion-dollar juggernaut, her schedule became an relentless whirlwind of production meetings, book club launches, and global advocacy. Simultaneously, Toth's transition from a top-tier agent to a tech-focused executive demanded his own brand of grueling dedication. Slowly, the power couple label became a mask for two individuals living parallel lives. By the time they announced their divorce in March 2023, just days before their 12th anniversary, the news felt less like a sudden explosion and more like the inevitable cooling of a fire that had run out of fuel. The beauty of their exit lay in its profound maturity. There were no vitriolic leaks or legal skirmishes over their massive assets. Instead, they prioritized the emotional well-being of their son, Tennessee, and maintained a unified front that prioritized friendship over resentment. Their story serves as a poignant reminder that success can sometimes cost the very intimacy it was meant to protect. It wasn't a failure of love, but a courageous acknowledgement that their seasons as partners had reached a natural, albeit bittersweet, conclusion. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer. For nearly half a century, the union between Meryl Streep and Don Gummer was regarded as the bedrock of Hollywood stability, a rare, tranquil sanctuary far removed from the industry's characteristic volatility. Their narrative began in the shadow of tragedy in 1978, with Gummer offering a literal and emotional refuge to Streep following the loss of her partner, John Cazale. What emerged was a profound alliance between two masters of their crafts, the world's most celebrated actress and an introspective, renowned sculptor. While Streep occupied the cinematic stratosphere, Gummer remained her silent sentinel, providing the equilibrium necessary to raise 4 children away from the intrusive flashbulbs of Los Angeles. The revelation in late 2023 that this legendary pair had been living separate lives for over 6 years sent a tremor through the cultural zeitgeist. It wasn't a fracture marked by scandal or betrayal, but rather a graceful, almost imperceptible drifting, a conscious uncoupling, long before the term was popularized. As their 4 children, Henry, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa, ventured into their own successful creative spheres, the shared domestic purpose that once anchored Streep and Gummer began to dissolve. The fortress they built hadn't crumbled. It had simply evolved into 2 distinct, dignified dwellings. This separation underscores a poignant truth about long-term devotion. It is possible to remain deeply family while no longer remaining a couple. Even as rumors of a burgeoning romance between Streep and Martin Short captivate headlines in 2025, the legacy of her 45-year journey with Gummer remains untarnished. Their story is a masterclass in privacy and mutual reverence, proving that the end of a romantic chapter does not necessitate the destruction of a shared history. They chose to honor their past by releasing the future, leaving behind a blueprint for how to part with as much elegance as they lived. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. For a brief, shimmering moment, Bennifer 2.0 felt like Hollywood's greatest victory over time itself. 2 decades after their first engagement crumbled under the weight of paparazzi lenses, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's 2021 reunion was hailed as the ultimate proof that true love deserves a sequel. Their whirlwind journey, from a midnight elopement in Las Vegas to a lavish, multi-day celebration in Georgia, seemed to script a fairy tale ending that the world desperately wanted to believe in. J.Lo, the relentless, multi-hyphenate powerhouse, and Affleck, the gritty, Oscar-winning director, appeared to have finally aligned their orbits. However, the honeymoon period eventually collided with the harsh reality of their polarized temperaments. By early 2024, the irreconcilable differences cited in their subsequent filings began to manifest as a stark contrast in their fundamental needs. While Lopez continued to operate at a dizzying velocity, fueling a global brand that thrives on public engagement and high-concept visibility, Affleck began to retreat. Sources noted that the very spotlight Lopez mastered became a source of profound discomfort for Affleck, who prioritized a more insular, low-profile existence focused on sobriety and fatherhood. The friction between a life lived out loud and a soul craving silence created a rift that even 20 years of longing couldn't bridge. The final curtain fell on August 20th, 2024, the exact 2-year anniversary of their formal wedding, when Lopez filed for divorce. By the close of 2025, the legal dissolution was finalized, leaving behind a $68 million mansion on the market and a public mourning the loss of a romantic ideal. Their story wasn't a failure of effort, but a masterclass in the complexity of timing. They proved that while you can reclaim a person from your past, you cannot always reconcile the people you have become in the present. It was a high-octane love story that burned too bright to last, reminding us that sometimes the most beautiful reunions are meant to be a chapter, not the whole book. Cardi B and Offset. For years, the union of Cardi B and Offset was the ultimate roller coaster of modern celebrity, a high-stakes saga of record-breaking hits, lavish displays of wealth, and explosive, very public reconciliations. Since their secret 2017 wedding, the world watched as the Bronx-born Bodak Yellow Queen and the Migos star navigated a cycle of infidelity scandals and near divorces that seemed to only fuel their creative fire. However, by late 2024, the on-again, off-again rhythm that defined them finally reached a point of exhaustion. Unlike previous splits, the filing in August 2024 felt like a definitive reset rather than a cry for attention. The true shock arrived not from a single scandal, but from the raw emotional transparency that followed. In the months leading into late 2025, Cardi B opened up about the mental drain of the marriage, candidly stating that the toxic cycle had pushed her to a dangerous breaking point. As they welcomed their third child, Blossom, in September 2024, the focus shifted from salvaging a romance to surviving a separation. The legal battle took a sharp turn in 2025, with Offset surprisingly seeking spousal support and property concessions, a move Cardi publicly slammed as a delay tactic. This wasn't just a breakup, it was the agonizing deconstruction of a multi-million-dollar partnership. By the end of 2025, the narrative had shifted entirely. While Offset remained focused on his solo music and mission complete view of marriage, Cardi B found a new, disciplined peace with NFL star Stefon Diggs. She moved from the chaotic energy of the Migos' orbit into a world of structured routines and loyal love, even as she continued to dominate the charts. Their story serves as a fierce reminder that even the most passionate connections can become a prison. Cardi B didn't just leave a marriage, she reclaimed her sanity, proving that sometimes the shocking end of a relationship is actually the beginning of a life. Lily Allen and David Harbour. In the fall of 2020, amidst the eerie quiet of a global pandemic, Lily Allen and David Harbour provided a burst of whimsical joy when they eloped in Las Vegas. Officiated by an Elvis impersonator and celebrated with In-N-Out burgers, their union was the ultimate indie cool romance, a collision between the sharp-tongued British pop icon and the rugged, beloved Stranger Things star. They seemed to defy the hollow glamour of Hollywood, building a meticulously designed, maximalist home in Brooklyn that felt like a fortress of shared eccentricities and blended family bliss. However, as the world reopened, the very geography that initially added mystery to their bond became its greatest adversary. By late 2024 and throughout 2025, the transatlantic drift became an insurmountable chasm. While Allen returned to her London roots to conquer the West End stage and revive her musical career, Harbour's grueling filming schedules for the final season of Stranger Things and his expansion into the Marvel Cinematic Universe kept him anchored in the United States and remote locations. The silence between their social media accounts grew deafening, replaced by solo red carpet appearances and cryptic mentions of navigating change. Their separation, confirmed in early 2025, wasn't marked by a singular explosion of conflict, but by the slow, agonizing realization that two vibrant lives were simply rotating on different axes. The tragedy of their split lies in its profound lack of animosity. In late 2025, both Allen and Harbour spoke of their time together with a haunting tenderness, citing lifestyle incompatibility rather than a loss of affection. They proved that even the most authentic chemistry can be eroded by the relentless demands of global careers and the physical distance of an ocean. Their story ends not with a bang, but with a dignified exhale. A reminder that sometimes love is a beautiful destination that you eventually have to travel away from to find yourself again. Rachel Zoe and Roger Berman. For a decade, Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson were the ultimate picture of domestic bliss, a serene contrast to Jessica's high-octane early career and highly publicized first marriage. Since their romantic 2014 wedding in Montecito, they built a world centered on their 3 children and Jessica's billion-dollar business empire. Eric, a former NFL player who preferred the shadows to the spotlight, seemed to be the rock that allowed Jessica to thrive as a mogul and a best-selling author. They appeared unshakable, anchored by a shared commitment to sobriety, family, and a low-profile lifestyle that shielded them from the typical Hollywood grind. However, by late 2024 and throughout 2025, the cracks beneath the surface became impossible to ignore. The shock wasn't a sudden scandal, but a gradual, emotional drift that saw the couple living increasingly separate lives. While Jessica was in the midst of a massive professional relaunch, traveling constantly to expand her wellness brand and promote new creative projects, Eric reportedly craved a level of privacy and consistency that no longer aligned with Jessica's trajectory. By January 2025, the news of their separation sent shockwaves through their fan base. It was a classic case of two people growing in different directions. The very opposites attract dynamic that once fueled them eventually became the source of their disconnect. As 2025 progressed, the focus remained on an amicable transition for the sake of their children, Maxwell, Ace, and Birdie. Unlike the messy divorces of the past, Jessica and Eric prioritized dignity over drama. Sources close to the family noted that while the romantic chapter had closed, the mutual respect remained intact. Their story serves as a poignant reminder that even the most stable-looking foundations can shift over time. It wasn't a lack of love that ended their decade-long run, but the courageous realization that they were no longer the same people who said, "I do," in the California sunshine. Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson. For 17 years, Jessica Alba and Cash Warren were the bedrock of Hollywood reliability. Their story felt like a Hollywood anomaly. Meeting on the set of Fantastic Four in 2004, they built a life that seemed intentionally insulated from the chaotic tides of fame. Together, they navigated Jessica's transition from a global screen siren to a formidable business titan with the launch of The Honest Company. While Jessica conquered the boardroom, Cash remained the quintessential supportive partner and producer, providing a grounded foundation for their three children, Honor, Haven, and Hayes. They were the couple that proved you could have a normal family life while building a consumer empire. However, the shock of January 2025 arrived when the couple announced an amicable separation. There was no explosive catalyst or messy betrayal. Instead, it was the quiet, dignified acknowledgement that their personal journeys had drifted into different spheres. As Jessica's professional focus intensified toward global expansion and executive leadership, the domestic symmetry that once defined them began to fray. By late 2025, it became clear that the intense pressure of maintaining a public-facing, perfect union while managing a billion-dollar legacy had taken its toll. Their decision to part ways was described not as a failure, but as a necessary evolution to preserve their individual peace and their shared commitment to their children. Throughout the latter half of 2025, Alba and Warren have demonstrated a masterclass in conscious co-parenting. From shared holiday photos to collaborative business transitions, they have maintained a level of mutual reverence that is rare in the spotlight. They have proven that a long-term partnership can end without losing the respect that built it in the first place. Their story is a poignant reminder that even the most synchronized teams can eventually reach a point where they must redefine what winning looks like, trading the title of husband and wife for the enduring role of best friends and co-parents. Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum. When Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum first sparked rumors in early 2022, they immediately became the internet's favorite aesthetic obsession. It was a collision of two distinct worlds, the edgy, high-fashion mystery of Kravitz and the rugged, blockbuster charisma of Tatum. Their bond wasn't just romantic, it was deeply creative, blossoming on the set of Kravitz's directorial debut, Blink Twice. For 3 years, they were the picture of effortless cool, seen riding BMX bikes through New York City or radiating intense chemistry on red carpets. Their engagement in late 2023 felt like the natural evolution of a partnership built on mutual artistic obsession and genuine companionship. However, the very creative intensity that ignited their flame eventually contributed to its flickering out. By the fall of 2024, the It couple had quietly dissolved their engagement. The shock for fans wasn't a loud confrontation, but the realization that two people could be deeply in love, yet fundamentally incompatible in their life rhythms. Kravitz, ever the nomadic artist, remained deeply embedded in the erratic schedules of music and indie cinema, while Tatum's priorities reportedly shifted toward a more grounded, family-centric focus and behind-the-scenes production work. As 2025 progressed, it became clear that their paths had simply diverged too far to sustain a shared future. The aftermath of their split has been a masterclass in dignified silence. Neither party has engaged in the typical post-breakup media circus. Instead, they've spoken, when they've spoken at all, with a hauntingly beautiful respect for what they once had. In late 2025, insiders suggested that the decision was a kindness to one another, acknowledging that growing apart is sometimes the ultimate act of love. Their story is a reminder that even the most magnetic connections can be temporary, leaving behind a legacy of shared art and a bittersweet what if that will linger in Hollywood lore for years to come. Fern Cotton and Jessie Wood. For nearly a decade, Fern Cotton and Jessie Wood represented a rare kind of celebrity sanctuary, one built on vulnerability, mental health advocacy, and a shared love for the arts. When the beloved British broadcaster and the rock royalty musician, son of Ronnie Wood, wed in 2014, they didn't just merge two high-profile families, they created a domestic space defined by happy place, philosophies, and raw honesty. Through Fern's public journey with anxiety and their shared parenting of two children, Honey and Parker, the couple appeared to be navigating the complexities of modern life with a unique, grounding grace. They were the couple who chose authenticity over the hollow glitter of the red carpet. However, the very commitment to growth that Fern championed in her work eventually led to a heartbreaking realization. By late 2024, the quiet evolution of their individual paths had created a distance that could no longer be ignored. In December 2024, they announced their separation with a level of transparency that left fans stunned yet deeply respectful. There was no scandalous catalyst. Instead, it was the courageous admission that their marriage had transformed into a profound friendship. As 2025 unfolded, Fern spoke candidly on her platforms about the grief of change, proving that even when a romantic chapter closes, the familial foundation can remain unshakable through conscious co-parenting. The aftermath of their split in 2025 has been characterized by a continued public support for one another. They haven't just divided a life, they have carefully reshaped it to protect the stability of their children while honoring their own need for individual expansion. Jesse's return to his musical roots and Fern's deepening immersion into wellness education show two people who have traded the constraints of a failing romance for the freedom of a supportive alliance. Their story is a powerful testament to the fact that ending doesn't have to mean failing. It is a blueprint for how to part with a heavy heart but a clear soul, prioritizing peace over performance. Jessica Alba and Cash Warren. For 17 years, Jessica Alba and Cash Warren were the bedrock of Hollywood reliability. Their story felt like a Hollywood anomaly. Meeting on the set of Fantastic Four in 2004, they built a life that seemed intentionally insulated from the chaotic tides of fame. Together, they navigated Jessica's transition from a global screen siren to a formidable business titan with the launch of The Honest Company. While Jessica conquered the boardroom, Cash remained the quintessential supportive partner and producer, providing a grounded foundation for their three children, Honor, Haven, and Hayes. They were the couple that proved you could have a normal family life while building a consumer empire. However, the shock of January 2025 arrived when the couple announced an amicable separation. There was no explosive catalyst or messy betrayal. Instead, it was the quiet, dignified acknowledgement that their personal journeys had drifted into different spheres. As Jessica's professional focus intensified toward global expansion and executive leadership, the domestic symmetry that once defined them began to fray. By late 2025, it became clear that the intense pressure of maintaining a public-facing, perfect union while managing a billion-dollar legacy had taken its toll. Their decision to part ways was described not as a failure, but as a necessary evolution to preserve their individual peace and their shared commitment to their children. Throughout the latter half of 2025, Alba and Warren have demonstrated a masterclass in conscious co-parenting. From shared holiday photos to collaborative business transitions, they have maintained a level of mutual reverence that is rare in the spotlight. They have proven that a long-term partnership can end without losing the respect that built it in the first place. Their story is a poignant reminder that even the most synchronized teams can eventually reach a point where they must redefine what winning looks like, trading the title of husband and wife for the enduring role of best friends and co-parents. Halle Bailey and DDG. When Halle Bailey and DDG first confirmed their romance in 2022, they represented a vibrant new era of celebrity power couples, a fusion of Disney's ethereal Little Mermaid and the disruptive digital-first world of YouTube and rap. For 2 years, their relationship was a subject of intense public fascination, navigating the extreme pressures of Halle's skyrocketing cinematic career and DDG's entrepreneurial ventures. The arrival of their son, Halo, in late 2023 seemed to solidify their bond, transforming them from a trendy duo into a young family unit. They shared glimpses of their domestic world through polished social media updates, appearing to balance the chaos of global stardom with the tenderness of new parenthood. However, the shock of late 2024 arrived when DDG announced via Instagram that the pair had decided to go our separate ways. By 2025, the reality behind the split became clearer. The relentless demands of their diverging industries had created a friction that love alone couldn't smooth over. While Halle was propelled into the stratosphere of A-list Hollywood, demanding long months on international sets and a rigorous public image, DDG remained deeply rooted in the fast-paced, often controversial world of digital content and music. The struggle to reconcile two vastly different professional velocities while raising an infant in the public eye led to an amicable but necessary conclusion. As 2025 progressed, the narrative shifted toward their shared commitment to Halo. Throughout the year, they have been seen prioritizing a healthy co-parenting dynamic, often appearing together for milestone events with a level of maturity that defied their young ages. They haven't let the end of their romance dismantle the family they built. Their story serves as a poignant reflection of a modern reality. Sometimes, the most courageous act of love isn't holding on, but letting go, so that both individuals can continue to find their own rhythm. Halle and DDG proved that a shocking breakup can still lead to a harmonious future, redefining what a successful family looks like in the digital age. Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello. When Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello wed in a lavish Palm Beach ceremony in 2015, they were instantly crowned the most aesthetically perfect couple in entertainment. It was a union of two titans, the charismatic, highest-paid television actress and the ruggedly handsome Magic Mike star. For 7 years, they navigated the spotlight with a shared sense of humor and mutual admiration that felt impenetrable. To the public, they were an invincible duo, gracing red carpets with a chemistry that appeared as vibrant in year 7 as it was on day 1. They seemed to have found the rare equilibrium between immense individual success and domestic stability. However, the shock of July 2023 arrived when the couple announced their decision to divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. By 2024 and 2025, the deeper narrative behind the split emerged. It wasn't a failure of love, but a fundamental shift in life goals. Sofia later candidly revealed that the friction stemmed from Joe's desire for biological children and her own firm decision not to become a mother again in her 50s. This lifestyle impasse transformed their romantic alignment into a poignant crossroads. By late 2025, both had moved forward with striking dignity. Joe found new companionship with Caitlin O'Connor, while Sofia leaned into her career-defining role in Griselda and a high-profile romance with surgeon Justin Salomon. Their separation has been a masterclass in professional restraint. There were no public feuds or leaked documents, only a mutual commitment to honor the years they shared. They proved that even the most perfect marriages can reach a natural expiration point when personal destinies no longer overlap. Their story is a sophisticated reminder that recognizing when a chapter is over is an act of self-respect. As they thrive in their separate lives in 2025, they leave behind a legacy of a beautiful partnership that didn't need to last forever to be considered a success. Kaitlyn Bristowe and Jason Tartick. For 4 years, Kaitlyn Bristowe and Jason Tartick represented the rare gold standard of the Bachelor franchise, a couple whose love felt authentically grounded despite starting in the high-pressure vacuum of reality TV. Their meeting in 2019 was the ultimate meet-cute for the digital age, blossoming on Kaitlyn's podcast and quickly evolving into a shared life in Nashville. They weren't just romantic partners, they were a powerhouse brand, co-parenting their beloved golden retrievers Ramen and Pino and supporting each other through massive career milestones. Their 2021 engagement felt like the final rose the world had been waiting for, a testament that true connection could survive the post-show spotlight. However, the shock of August 2023 arrived when the pair released a joint statement confirming their decision to part ways. By 2024 and throughout 2025, the narrative behind their split became a masterclass in raw vulnerability. Unlike many celebrity breakups, Kaitlyn and Jason didn't hide the pain. They spoke candidly about the heavy grief of a relationship that was deeply loved but ultimately misaligned in its future trajectory. As Kaitlyn expanded her wellness empire and Jason deepened his focus on financial mentorship, the shared vision that once anchored them began to fray under the weight of individual growth. As 2025 comes to a close, both have navigated the aftermath with a level of grace that continues to inspire their followers. They have prioritized a kind exit, continuing to support each other's professional wins while maintaining a boundary that allows for individual healing. Their story serves as a poignant reminder that a relationship's success isn't measured solely by its duration, but by the growth it fosters. Kaitlyn and Jason prove that even when a fairy tale ends, the respect and shared memories can remain untarnished, leaving behind a blueprint for how to untangle two lives with dignity and heart. Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. For years, Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert were the undisputed it couple of Black excellence, a seamless fusion of high-fashion artistry and NBA grit. From their breathtaking chemistry in Kanye West's Fade video to their candid, charismatic presence on reality TV, they appeared to be an indestructible unit. Since their secret 2016 wedding, they built a vibrant family life with their daughters, Junie and Rue, becoming symbols of a modern, stylish, and deeply loyal love. They weren't just partners. They were a lifestyle brand that bridged the worlds of music, sports, and fashion with an effortless, cool energy. However, the shock of late 2023 arrived when Teyana announced their separation, revealing that the perfect image masked years of private turmoil. By 2024 and 2025, the narrative shifted from a quiet split into a complex legal battle that left fans speechless. Teyana's subsequent divorce filings alleged cruel treatment and extreme narcissistic behavior, painting a picture of a marriage strained by jealousy and the pressures of their diverging fame. As Teyana's cinematic career reached new heights with critically acclaimed roles, the domestic equilibrium they once celebrated became a battlefield. By late 2025, the dissolution was finalized, marking the end of an era that many believed would last forever. The aftermath of their split in 2025 has been a poignant study in resilience and self-reclamation. Teyana has channeled her energy into her directorial work and motherhood, while Iman has navigated a transition into the entertainment space as a solo entity. Despite the legal complexities, both have remained fiercely protective of their daughters, attempting to maintain a co-parenting structure amidst the public fallout. Their story serves as a raw reminder that even the most magnetic and visually stunning unions can harbor deep-seated fractures. They proved that sometimes the most shocking end is actually a necessary liberation, allowing both individuals to finally step out of a shared shadow and into their own light. Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher. For over 2 decades, Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher were the ultimate anomaly in the chaotic landscape of celebrity romance. Their story began at a pretentious party in Sydney in 2001, long before the world knew Sacha as Borat or Isla as the breakout star of Wedding Crashers. Over 20 years together, including 13 years of marriage, they built a life defined by a fierce, almost impenetrable commitment to privacy. While Sacha pushed boundaries as a provocative satirist, and Isla charmed audiences with her comedic timing, they retreated to a quiet domestic existence in Australia and the UK, raising 3 children far from the intrusive reach of the Hollywood machine. The shock of April 2024 arrived when the pair released a joint statement, accompanied by a playful photo of them in tennis whites, announcing that they had actually filed for divorce the previous year. By 2025, the narrative behind their split solidified as a masterclass in the long goodbye. It wasn't a fracture caused by public scandal or professional rivalry, but rather a mutual realization that their long-term paths were no longer aligned. While Sacha continued to dive into heavy political commentary and international projects, Isla reportedly sought a more stationary, family-focused rhythm. Their separation wasn't a sudden explosion, it was the dignified conclusion of a partnership that had simply run its course. As 2025 comes to a close, both have navigated the transition with the same understated grace that defined their marriage. They have prioritized the stability of their children and maintained a friendship that appears genuine rather than performative. They haven't let the end of their marriage dismantle the immense respect they built over 23 years. Their story serves as a sophisticated reminder that a successful relationship isn't necessarily one that lasts forever, but one that enriches both lives before reaching a peaceful finale. Sacha and Isla proved that you can part ways with as much laughter and loyalty as when you first met, leaving behind a legacy of a truly rare Hollywood bond. As we close the curtain on these 15 shocking celebrity breakups, it's clear that even the most glittering Hollywood fairy tales aren't immune to reality. From decade-long pillars like Meryl Streep to the high-octane passion of Bennifer, these splits remind us that fame often comes with a heavy price on intimacy. But here at Celebrity Couples Hollywood, we want to hear from you. Is the pressure of the spotlight the true romance killer, or have we simply stopped believing in forever? Which of these heartbreaks hit you the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the conversation started.